And over the past year, we've done a ton of setups here on the channel. M1 iMac, M1 MacBook Pro, desk setup down here in the studio, game room setup tour. This time around, we have the M1 Max. In this particular setup, I want to do something very different. We're sharing this setup with the game room. And in this particular case, I want to do something, no distractions, no wires, no phones on the table, none of that stuff. Just clean productivity and workflow. And I think we achieved the look that I was going for. Now, if you've been here before, you've noticed that my cable management is always on point. I mean, I absolutely hate wires. So in today's episode, we'll cover my M1 Max setup that was created with productivity and minimalism in mind. Our theme for this setup went back to the dark side. To kick things off, let's start with this desk from Arozzi. Now, I only had so much space to work with since I was sharing this setup with the game room and not the studio. So this time around, I went with the Arena Leggero. It comes in at just under 300 bucks. First off, it's got a nice clean modern form factor, a nice large pad, and 3 separate spaces towards the top for all your free-flowing cables. The cables are then met with a nice mesh management system below the desk, so you don't have to worry about going out of your way to hide those cables. On top, we have this nice large pad from Razer. It's a hybrid gaming mat called the Strider, and simply put, I picked this up to not only protect the mat below it, but also to enjoy how much traction I get when using this with my mouse. This mat comes in at 40 bucks and goes well with what I had in mind here. The mouse is nothing new. We've added yet another glorious Model O wireless into the mix, and I can't tell you guys how much I love this mouse. It's very responsive, very light, and it fits perfect with this setup. We reviewed it last year, and I never really looked back. I mean, I tried to fall in love with the Logitech MX Master 3, but this one just feels way more precise when I'm using it, and I like the fit better. To accompany the Model O, we have this new keyboard from Logitech. This is from the MX Keys Advanced lineup, and is one of the most comfortable and responsive keyboards I've ever used. It makes sense why so many creators use it. It has support for both Mac and Windows, with the ability to shift between 3 different setups at the push of a button. It's super easy to connect through both Bluetooth and its USB receiver with up to 5 months of battery life with the backlighting turned off, which is definitely insane for me. It also has Mac commands on the keyboard itself that mimic your Apple products that you're using it with. To the left of the keyboard, we still have that dope digital black timer that I picked up on Amazon a while back. Now, this is the perfect companion, especially when it comes to time blocking. 3 different volume settings to let you know when your tasks are over and when it's time to set a new one. Time blocking has been critical to my success and focus. Now, I found this to be super useful when I have a ton of stuff that needs to get done. It's magnetic, comes in under 20 bucks, not to mention it does look pretty dope. I do have a ton of these laying around, and honestly, this paired up with a notepad and using Notion has set me up for success in anything that I plan on doing. Now, one thing I've started over the past year along with time blocking is making sure that all my notifications are turned off for anything that doesn't directly correlate with the task at hand. That helps you stay sharp, very focused, and make sure that you get stuff done on time without falling into a life-sucking abyss in Reddit or on TikTok. My phone is set off to the side and can only accept calls, emails, and important messages from Teams. I set a priority of things that have to be done throughout the next day in my notepad and cross them off as I finish them. This makes focusing and finishing tasks 10 times more productive for me. Next to my timer, I added the 2nd gen Amazon Echo into the mix, and I absolutely love this new version. I do like the Google Nest Hub Max just a tad bit more, but both the Max and the regular size don't come in all black, so it wasn't really looking too hot for this setup. This new Echo has a 13 megapixel camera with auto framing and a vibrant 8-inch HD touchscreen that has adaptive color and amazing speakers. It also adds a privacy shutter this time around that turns both the camera and the microphone off with a flip of a switch. Next to my 2nd gen Amazon Echo, we have the 2TB Seagate Firecuda external SSD that you guys have seen here on the channel in the past, and the Sony CF Express card reader for my Sony A7S III. The Seagate has been one of my favorite go-tos over the past year when it comes to external SSDs. It has read and write speeds of up to 2000 megabits per second, and it's pretty much as fast as it gets for an SSD that doesn't support Thunderbolt technology. Now, if I need something faster with Thunderbolt tech, I still hands down go for the Samsung X5 over everything else. This Firecuda also has customizable LED lights on the outside, along with full support through its software. The CF Express card reader, on the other hand, has been my go-to for everything since it launched alongside the Sony A7S III. Comes in at just over 100 bucks and has worked perfectly for me since day one. Now, I do tend to use it less and less as time goes on because my Sony A7S III can directly connect to my M1 Max and transfer files very quickly, so I really don't have use for it anymore. I'll leave it in the studio or up in the game room whenever I'm editing up there, but for someone that loves traveling, one less thing in your bag is always a good thing. Now, if for some reason I do need another display for small tasks such as note-taking, or if I'm just checking out the market in the morning, or even watching YouTube TV, I still have my 6th gen iPad mini nearby, along with its Apple Pencil and Smart Folio keyboard. Now, I did a full review on the iPad mini about a month after use when it first came out here a few months back, and I absolutely love this thing. I mean, it's the perfect size for me, especially if you're carrying around a big M1 Max 16-inch model. The only thing I don't like about it is bumping down from that iPad Pro. You don't get 120 Hz for that refresh rate. That's the only bummer for me. If you want to check out that video, I will make sure I have it linked down below for you guys, along with everything else that you'll see in today's episode. Heading over to the other side, we have my M1 Max 16-inch laptop, fully spec'd out aside from storage, with my favorite D-brand skin both on the outside and on the trackpad. Full review after a month of use is coming on this, guys, so if you'd like to see that video in the future, along with a day in the life, just make sure you guys are subscribed. But that's only if you guys end up enjoying the content. Now for me personally, I haven't had the need to use this as a backup display with my main display, which we'll cover here in a second. But I've seen so many content creators and filmmakers use this for various tasks and projects to where it seems like it could be very useful here in the future. I did, however, have a rather hard time using this with my previous 12 South book arc. For one, it didn't fit, and two, the color really didn't match. Luckily, I found this matte black stand from Satoshi that's absolute fire. Not only does it look super clean, it has rubber feet on the bottom so it doesn't really move around, and the base itself widens and contracts to fit pretty much any laptop out there. Another addition I've also loved using over the past few months is the screen bar from BenQ. It sits neatly at the top of my display and saves you the time and space on your desk when you do need to get some reading or writing done thanks to its sleek design and fit. Its lighting and auto dimming technology helps offset some of that harsh lighting around you, or even adds to the lighting that you don't have for an overall much more pleasant workflow. You don't need any screws or tape. This screen bar sits nicely on the back of your monitor and has a nice counterbalance with enough room to fit most screens in today's market. It is glare free, it's flicker free, it covers a ton of desk space without any of its lighting ever reaching back towards your eyes, so you won't have to worry about any harsh blue light giving you any problems. It also connects seamlessly through USB and adjusts to suit a few different angles. Now for lighting, we stay consistent here in the game room and in the studio using a ton of different color options from Philips Hue. For this particular setup, we have a set of Hue playlights and a lamp from Hue that I can't seem to find anywhere anymore, but is definitely one of my favorites. Controlling everything through the Hue app makes it super easy to get your favorite colors and schedules within seconds, giving you the best overall lighting experience you've ever come across. Now the only cable we have in this setup that's visible is the Thunderbolt cable running from my M1 Max to my 34-inch curved monitor from Acer. This is the Predator Ultra Wide Quad HD gaming monitor that comes in at just $900 right now on deal. It's a beautiful 3440 by 1440 G-Sync display that's similar to the 34-inch Alienware you guys have seen here on the channel in the past. Except this one has a USB Type-C port with a ton of other ports to cover pretty much anything you'll ever need, including 2 additional USB ports on the side of the monitor to connect to whatever you deem fit. Not to mention, aside from ports, it has a much higher 180Hz refresh rate, which makes this the perfect display for gaming and content creation. You also have a half millisecond response time, which is the lowest I've seen on a display like this. Its USB Type-C port also provides 85-watt charging to my MacBook, so I never really have to worry about it running out of juice. When I'm done, I just disconnect one cable and I'm on the go in a few seconds. The display itself is being held up by this monitor arm from Huanuo that comes in at just under $60. It has support for up to 26 pounds and anything up to 35 inches. It tilts, rotates, and extends its arm better than any monitor arm I've used in the past, and is the same monitor arm we had in my M1 MacBook Pro setup that you guys absolutely loved. Now for my other peripherals, we have the Sony WH-1000 XM4s, which have been a staple for me over the past few years, along with the Beats Fit Pro that we just checked out 2 weeks back. Honestly, using earbuds instead of headphones, especially in those much longer gaming and editing sessions, just makes so much more sense to me, and half the time, I don't even realize that they're there. Especially now that I found a set of buds with the perfect fit and set of features to match. And the sound quality is just fantastic, especially when it comes to editing videos in a pinch. Can't recommend these enough. Full review will also be linked down below for you guys. And that then brings us to my chair. We're still rocking the GT Racing Ace M1 that we checked out almost a year ago here on the channel. And it makes so much more sense to recommend that chair over the Secretlab Titan when it's pretty much the same chair for half the price. And it makes so much more sense to use one chair in the game room aside from 2 because both setups are right next to each other. So when I'm done gaming, I can head over to editing and vice versa whenever I want without adding a second chair to clutter the mix. So that's what I've been doing, but I'm curious to know, is there anything else you guys would add into this setup that would make it much more productive, much more simplistic, streamlined? Let me know down below where you'll also find the links to everything that we covered in today's video. If you want to see more, go ahead and follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DetroitFury. And if you enjoyed this content, please make sure you smash that like button for me, subscribe, turn on your post notifications, it really means a lot to me. Thank you so much for watching, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.